George Washington is the father of our nation, rightfully so. If it was not for George Washington, it's arguable if we could have won the American Revolution. He was the one that kept the troops together. It was his leadership, his courage, his connection. They loved George Washington at the end of the Revolution as we're struggling to figure out how can we operate, what form of government. George Washington is the one at the Constitutional Convention that is chosen to be the president. He holds it all together. He's the reason we actually got a constitution. And then he is chosen unanimously as the first president, the only president ever to be elected unanimously from the Electoral College. And he serves 2 terms. He then shows what a peaceful transition of power looks like. Almost everything about this guy's life is just so remarkable, and how he led, his humility, his courage, his honor. And yet today, there are a lot of academics who would accuse him of being one of the more noted deist founding fathers, that he wasn't someone who knew God, loved God, Christianity. Nope, he didn't do any of that. There's a lot of irony in this. The fact that literally everyone that knew him that wrote about his faith, they would talk about his Christian faith. But the one example I would point to, Nellie Park Custis, she was a granddaughter, and she lived with George and Martha for 20 years. Once George died, a famous biographer, author, historian, Jared Sparks, he begins collecting the writings of Washington, and he wrote to Nellie and asked her pointedly, can you tell me anything about the faith of your grandfather, which was really kind of the guy who raised her? So like, your adoptive father, can you tell me about his faith? And the letter she wrote back is worth reading. The whole thing is impressive. But she concluded by saying, sooner should we question his patriotism than question his Christianity. As we remember some of the founding fathers, and as we try to go back and learn their story, it's important that we don't just learn some of the facts about them. When we actually learn about their life, read their own writings, and hear the stories from the people that knew them best, when one of the most profound things that Nellie Park Custis can say about her grandfather is that he was a better Christian than he was a patriot, it's pretty telling about the faith of George Washington.